Well, and hello and welcome to Shakescene's November behind the scenes video. Very much delighted to be bringing this to you today. I'm attempting to bring a bit of colour into what has been a very, very grey month, but it's almost Christmas month. So looking forward to a lot of that and a lot of colour coming back into the world. So what have we been up to this month? Well, quite a lot, as usual. I have videos for you from those involved with All's Well That Ends Well, which was an extremely interesting exercise and a very enjoyable production for all of us. In fact, I was quite surprised by that. Because, All's Well is one of those plays that isn't done so much because it's kind of problematic. You know, you've got to deal with these issues of the relationship between Bertram and Helena and Bertram and Diana. And the sort of Parolles plot is almost, it has a very serious edge. I thought Aliki did a very good job of bringing over quite a serious edge to Parolles. I thought everybody did a really good job, actually. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But it's not an easy play to do. And you come out of it not knowing what you think. And that's interesting too, and comes down to me thinking, well, that's kind of the point. You know, it's not a comedy, it's not a tragedy. What is it? It's a thinking play, like several of the others. So, but that was really entertaining and good fun for us. The whole cast had a really good time doing it, so that was really great. So we have videos on that, which will follow this little bit. Then I'm going to be talking a little bit about other stuff, Tempest stuff, and things like that. So I'm going to shut up now and let the cast talk to you about the day that we did All's Well That Ends Well. Here you go.
Hey. So this is a little pre-show check-in. I'm in the process of getting myself ready to get on our pre-show call, which is starting soon. I've got my costume and makeup done, and made sure that the back wall is as free of distractions as possible. This is my little setup here. I've got some props to hand that we made just for this. And I'm looking forward to a fun, for me, morning into afternoon. So, should be good.
Okay, so we just finished. I always dread this play a little bit. And I dreaded playing Helen, as much fun as it was and as surprising as it was that she has so many lines comparatively to other Shakespeare heroines. The thing with this play is I genuinely feel like there is a big, big backstory that we kind of read between the lines in terms of what's really going on between Bertram and Helen. And sometimes I worry about, am I doing too much of the subtext? Am I doing too little of the subtext? Then there's obviously people who think that, you know, Shakespeare doesn't do subtext. Well, show them this play. Anyway, it was emotionally challenging, this play. And I think at the end of the day, if you are doing a modern production of it, you're going to have a lot of conversations with the actors, with the director. There is a great story to be told here, but I think it's a little bit, you need the understanding of the time period for this one, as you do with some of the others. I'm rambling now, but I will probably be talking about the same stuff on Friday, so. But yeah, lots of stuff to do if you play Helen. Really challenging, really nice, and something to sink your teeth into. Yeah.
It's been a real uneasy lies the head that wears the crown today. because I lost the crown just before the half. Supposed to be wearing a gold crown. And no idea where it is, still hasn't turned up. And I haven't taken anything out of the house. It must have rolled under some piece of furniture. And so I had to make one, which I managed to do with some silver gaffer tape. And I think it looks quite good. And stick on gems. I also made this, which is one of the rings. I got quite confused myself about whose ring was whose. And that fell on the floor just before I needed it. So there was a very unkingly scramble. But I enjoyed it. It's actually somewhat confusing play. And I've never found any other production I've seen very enlightening. So I was pleased to be able to watch a few of the military episodes and the practical jokes and things. You know, kind of finally get it now. Anyway, all was well that ended well, and I really enjoyed the little wrap-up speech at the end. I've played a lot of monarchs sorting out the mess at the end, and I really rather enjoyed it. I felt a sense of achievement today.
So, we've literally just finished a few minutes ago our performance of All's Well That Ends Well. And a couple of initial thoughts from me. One is that I did much better in remembering all of the parts that I was assigned. I was very keen on this because I didn't want to be like John Hammond in The Lost World. You can see I'm not making the same mistakes twice. No, you're making all new ones. So at least I can do that. So I remembered the page, who has all of 7 words, but still an important character. And there was one point when I had one of my scenes with Dewi where I gave a line which was his cue, which wasn't correct. It was missing a word, and I had to go back and sort of give him the actual line, because if it's somebody's cue, then it has to be right, because sometimes a cue can be just 1 word, 2 or 3, but because of repeated cues, if it isn't exactly what they're expecting to hear, they might not come in with their line, and it will completely mess them up, and it's not their fault at all. So I managed to catch myself on that front too. So all ended well for me.
Hello, I'm Maliki. I've just finished playing Paroles in All's Well That Ends Well for Shakespeare Shakespeare. Here's a little look at my utterly professional setup. Yeah. That was kind of wild. It's really interesting doing it this way because I didn't really know the play, and I had quite a lot of sense of what was going on in the scenes in which Parole speaks a lot, but there were other scenes in which I would interject every now and then where I was completely clueless as to what was actually going on. So in the scene just after the king has gotten well, where everybody's talking about how good it is that the king has gotten well, I had no idea that was what he was talking about. All I had was the lines that went, "Oh yes, that's what I would have said. That's what I would have said too." So in my head, there was a really long erudite speech to which I would go, "Oh yes, that's exactly what I would have said, according to Galen." Only, of course, it was only a very few words, and I was completely taken aback every time that I had to reply, because when I had read over the lines, I was so sure it was long erudite speeches, and it was just 5 words and then me going, "Oh yes, that's what I would have said." Yeah, that was great. We should do that again.
I just wanted to say a big thank you to Lizzie for dedicating last night's show to Peter Howe. In fact, it was incredibly poignant because the character I was playing, the Countess, was actually mourning her husband and also the loss of her good friend, the doctor, the father of Helena. So, thank you.
So, that's the cast's view on what it was like for them when all ended well last Sunday. Well, no, 2 Sundays ago now. So now I would be talking to you about videos from scenes, but I don't have any. I'm really, really sorry. It just hasn't happened this time. So what we've got instead is I'm including Tamara's extra piece of monologue, which she contributed to the shows, because we did the thing again of doing 3 live, 2 pre-recorded, and a couple of pre-recorded monologues, just to kind of things there, because it's nice, you know. It means more people can be involved. We can show you more scenes, and it's just, it's nice that not everybody's free on a Sunday, so it's nice to get that everybody's in. And I forgot to ask them. It's been a very, very busy month, and I do apologise. So here comes a little bit extra of Tamara as Helena from Midsummer Night's Dream, and then we'll talk about what happens next.
How happy some or other some can be. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she. But what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. He will not know what all but he doth know. And as he errs, doting on Hermia's eyes, so I, admiring of his qualities, things base and viled, holding no quantity, love can transpose to form and dignity. Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind, and therefore is winged Cupid painted blind. Nor hath love's mind of any judgment taste. Wings and no eyes figure unheedy haste, and therefore is love set to be a child, because in choice he is so oft beguiled. As waggish boys in game themselves forswear, so the boy love is perjured everywhere. For ere Demetrius looked on Hermia's eyne, he hailed down oaths that he was only mine. And when this hail some heat from Hermia felt, so he dissolved, and showers of earth did melt. I will go tell him of fair Hermia's flight, then to the wood will he tomorrow night pursue her, and if for this intelligence, if I have thanks, it is at the expense. But herein me nigh to enrich my pain, and to have his sight thither and back again.
So there was Tamara as Helena, which you probably remember from Sunday, or if you didn't catch it before, here you go, you got it. Again, it is nice to have everybody to take part in these little extra ways, and I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. So what's next? Well, I'm not quite done with what we're offering in this video, because our last play for this year, our last live offering for this year, as you know, is going to be The Tempest on the 11th of December. Now, similarly to the little pre-records, like the bit of Tamara we just saw, we're contriving a way to include as many as we possibly can of those who've been performing with us over the last 2 years, in the two and a bit years, for The Tempest. Because basically I just thought it would be fun. There's a lot of people who we were working with back in 2020 who have quite rightly gone off and done their own thing, but they've stayed in touch, and it would just thought, oh, well, how do I get people involved? So one thing that's going to happen during our Tempest is it's going to be a certain amount of spot the spirit, because there will be little cameo moments. We're going to keep an extra sort of vignette open on the screen for our sort of magical elements of the story. And every now and again, an extra spirit will pop up, have a look at what's going on, and then float off. Now, and these are going to be as many members of the company, past and present, as I've been able to corral, and as will be able to pre-record themselves, doing a little bit of spirit action, and hopefully also watching on the day, so that we get as many faces on the screen that have been associated with this journey that we never knew we were going to take. The online exploration of the entire Shakespeare's canon from Cues. I mean, I had no idea we were going to do this, and now we've done it, and I love it. And yes, there will be plenty of things to come. So there's going to be a little spirit moment for you at the end of this video. I am also going to put an extra link onto Patreon. I can't link it onto here because it's on YouTube and I haven't got the footage. But way back when I started this work, so I think this reaches back to about 2017, the very first full-length play that I was responsible for staging from Cues Only, where one player played one part. We didn't split the parts up in any way. We didn't divide anything. It was just one player, one part. The first one of those that we did was The Tempest. And it took place at the Cockpit up by Marylebone. And the first performance was somewhere around the end of December. I forget exactly the date. And it's also the first one that we did more than once, because we did it for once in December and then we came back in January and did it for a week, because that was the beginning of the experiment where because people say to us, or say to me anyway, yeah, okay, so that's what happened first out, but then what happened? How did things change? What did they do? And being me, I said, oh, I don't know. I'll find out. And so we've done several performances live performances, in-person performances, which have gone beyond one performance. Not for a while, it must be said, but hey, COVID, it's been a thing and the world changed. And one of the things we're hoping to bring back next year is in our live in-person stuff to go back to playing something more than once to see how it develops, because it's interesting. So anyway, what you will find an extra link on Patreon just for you to a section of footage from that very first performance of The Tempest, featuring several people that you will recognise, including me as Prospero, and maybe some people that you won't have seen because they've not been working with us online, or, it's just been a while. So I hope that you enjoy that. And as I said, there will be an entire new Shake Scene Tempest coming up on the 11th of December, and I really hope that you enjoy that with us. And again, we will be back in January. I'm already working on the book script for Two Noble Kinsmen. After that will be Sir Thomas More. After that will be Edward III. After that is going to be a journey into and contemporaries and how they relate to Shakespeare. So we'll do a Marlowe play. We'll do a Marlowe-y Shakespeare. There's another chap called Monday that I'm very interested in, who started the fashion for pastoral comedies. So we will do one of his, and then we'll do As You Like It. So, in fact, if you have a favourite play of the era or a favourite playwright that you'd like us to investigate, now is a good time to tell me. Okay, so drop me a message, you know how. And yeah, wishing you a very good December. I will be talking to you at the end of the year or around about Christmas, because I'll do one of these videos for December, but it might be a little bit shorter because we're only doing The Tempest. But I'll try and get some extra bits off the cast as well. So there we go. Thank you very much for another month's support. We ever so greatly appreciate it. If you want to see more of the original Tempest, let me know. There were some good things about it. There are some absolutely crashingly dreadful things about it, but that's what happens when you do something for the very first time. So I'm always happy to share a bit more. And yeah, wishing you very well, and see you in December.